You're watching Cars.tv.
Hi, my name is Dave DeJure. I'm the co-owner of Hell's Chariot from the movie Grease with my partner Scott Byram. Welcome to Monterey. We are in Monterey, California for Speed Week at the MECUM Monterey auction.
My name is Scott Byram. I'm one of the owners of Hell's Chariot. A friend of my business partner has a friend that he's known for years out of Vegas that has worked with MECUM several times. He said, if you guys are going to take this car to an auction, that MECUM's the company you want to work with.
Old hot rod guy. I'm a Marauders rep for Good Guys, so I've been around hot rods since I was 12 years old. And about 12 or 13 years ago, I was looking for a chop Merc, 49 to 51, one of my dream cars. And I went on Craigslist and I saw an ad for a 1950 Merc, silver chop, gorgeous car. And the phone number was a shop in Huntington Beach called Bill Papke Enterprises. And Bill was a legendary guy for 49 to 51 Ford Merc parts, and I bought parts from him for years. And evidently, he passed away the week earlier, and we didn't know this. We drive up there, and sure enough, the shop is closed down tighter than a drum, and we're knocking on the doors of the surrounding businesses, and we get the phone number of a gentleman who is the estate coordinator. And he comes down about an hour later, and I said, look, I knew Bill had some street rods. I knew there was a 32 Ford Coupe, really interested in buying it. And the guy said, all the cars are gone. I got rid of everything. He goes, but I have one car left, and it's up on a hoist, and I can't get the hoist down because the hydraulics are broken. Well, what is it? He goes, I have a 1949 Grease Mercury. And I look at Scott, he looks at me, we're pretty good with cars here. I've never heard of a Grease Mercury. He goes, oh really? You never saw the movie Grease? And right then, my heart sunk into my stomach because the rumor that one car survived, and it was Hell's Chariot. So we go inside. Sure enough, the car's sitting up on a hoist, and my partner Scott is an engineer, so he gets the car on the ground immediately. And we're looking at the car and we're like, wait a minute, we open up the trunk and the pyrotechnics were still in the trunk. The flamethrower kit was there. There was a bumper underneath the car that had a big crease in it. That was when they ran into the back of Travolta's car, and we're thinking, oh my God, this might actually be the car. And after doing a bunch of work and research, we found out that Eddie Paul, legendary customizer, he was the one who originally built the cars for the movie. So my partner calls him, and they find out that Eddie did a certain welding under the car. And Eddie said, well, send us pictures of that welding.
We got the photos from Bill Papke. When he bought the car, he did a huge amount of photos of the car, knowing that it was from the movie Grease. We took those photos up to Eddie Paul and had him authenticate the car. The car wasn't convertible in the beginning. It was a hardtop. He cut the roof off of it. When you do that, the doors won't close. So they had to do some framework to stiffen it up. And Eddie said, if you were over my shoulder looking at what I did 35 years ago, you might have been able to duplicate it, but he knew it was the car from Grease.
And I asked him, why did you blow the roof off of it? He says, because when the directors and all the staff from Grease told us that we were doing a movie called Grease, they said, we don't have the money for you to go get real convertibles. Get a coupe, chop the top off. Nobody's gonna know. There it is. And the funny thing is, these little things on top of the car that hold the roof on, those are hood pins from Western Auto off an old muscle car. But it sure looks the part. Movie magic.
The story about the spikes out of the side, Randall Kleiser, the director of the movie, was a Ben-Hur fan. And when they did the race scene, he wanted those spikes on there to, pay tribute to the movie Ben-Hur. Well, the flames, not the typical flames you see on a hot rod. Eddie Paul told us a story when the crew came to pick up the car was solid black. And they said, no, that's not gonna work. We need some contrast. We need to do something with it. And he said, well, how much time do I have? He said, you've got 5 hours. We're gonna start shooting. So Eddie Paul walked into the shop and grabbed an U-Bahn coffee can and started making circles on the car with the base of the can. That's how the flames ended up looking the way they did.
We've had the car for so many years. We were fortunate enough to drive Olivia Newton-John down the strip in Las Vegas in 2014 to her show called Summer Nights.
We spent about 30 minutes talking to her about making the movie. She kind of teared up when she saw the car and was remembering and reminiscing about the race scene, saying she was there and what memories it brought back. So we asked her to sign the dash, and she said, I don't want to ruin your car. That's how humble she was.
We did an advertising campaign for OPI nail polish. It was in Grease Live, and we've had the car for a lot of years, but it's traveled the world. But for the last 2 years since COVID, it hasn't gone anywhere. So we thought about it for quite a while. We figured, you know what, now's the time. Let's let somebody else take it on its journey. To be at Speed Week in Monterey, this is something I've talked about for years. Both Scott and I have talked about coming here for years and years and years, but to come up here under this circumstance makes it even more special for us. Because since the moment this car came in yesterday, people have been coming up to us and going, we heard this car is going to be here. This is what everybody's talking about. It's an ego stroke. Just to be here is fabulous. So we're honored to be here, and we're honored to have Hell's Chariot here.